Oh, we're now live. Technical issue, guys, so we're just getting on now. Anything, Rob?
It's just me somewhere. Okay.
How you doing?
How do we get answered questions about the Facebook?
Could I get onto the Facebook one, maybe?
Right on.
I can't, my phone can use it. Okay, so sorry about that, guys. We just had some technical issues. We're not exactly the best IT people to be dealing with this.
That's fine, yeah.
So, any questions in, guys?
Not so far, no. So guys, do post your questions in. It can be regarding hormones, nutrition, training, periodization, genetics. But do post your questions in and we'll try and get through them all.
Well, one of the questions that came into the ISI Instagram page on was more detailed description of the fat loss camp and why is it different from the one that we did 2 years ago. So like we put up videos and saying this is included, this is included, what is the package, what do we do?
Okay, so when we first ran the fat loss seminar, we ran it because so many students were asking to run a course that had detailed breakdown of programs, how to periodize and then put the nutrition together. And during the fat loss program it was pretty much 50-50, 50% training, 50% theory. But as you guys know, fat loss can be very different for very many different people. So we go through allergy testing, how to recommend allergy testing for a client, what a client that may need allergy testing look like. We look at physical exams, we look at vitamin and mineral deficiencies and how that deficiency can possibly interfere with someone's beta oxidation. Beta oxidation is a fancy word for the body utilising fat as a form of energy. And if a client has an inability to burn fat, well then obviously their fat loss goals are going to be hampered. So during this fat loss course, it's advanced fat loss and transformations. And the reason why we call it a transformation, because so many people out there are doing transformations, and a one fixed wonder or a one hit wonder where you train someone for 6 to 12 weeks and think you're going to have a huge impact on their health is untrue. What we're trying to do during a transformation is to give people understanding of hormones, vitamin and mineral absorption, digestion, assimilation, and how well their gut is healing, what training they should do. Another thing we talk extensively about is energy system training. People for some reason, they're quite scientific with program design, but they're very haphazard when it comes to energy system training. Understanding what walk to restoration should be prescribed, understanding people's ability to recover, people's resilience, people's ability to have that DHEA or hormonal reserve to adapt to the training is overseen for a lot of trainers. So during this fat loss course, Adam, to answer the question, it's an advanced, in-depth look at all the facets that are involved in getting true fat loss from your client, but obviously getting optimal health, well-being, longevity, posture control, muscle activation, better sleep, reduction of immune issues or inflammation. But again, it's really in depth. And again, if you're a new trainer, this course is not for you. If you're new to this industry, this course is not for you. If you're in the industry 5 years and you've got a lot of experience with clients and you feel like there's a missing gap, this is what we're looking for. We talk about functional medicine, nutritional medicine, advanced program design, strength and conditioning, energy system training. We talk a lot about testing. We are very happy to announce that we're the first facility in Ireland to have the most advanced body composition assessment tool in the gym. It's called a SOZO. So again, having this advanced assessment technique, we're able to modulate our nutrition, our calorie intake, our hydration, our post workout nutrition. We're able to look at our weight and our calories, and again the right training for the client at the right time. And the fundamental thing we're doing is called developing a personalized performance plan. So during the whole 2-day course, we're going to show you how to build your own personalized performance plan for your clients. Again, some clients are better high reps, low rest, short rest, long rest. But after this course, you guys will be you'll be ninjas at how to put together a real personalized transformation.
What I would add to that as well is when you look at most social media, the days of, it fits your macros and just train harder, eat less, they're over. When you have an in-depth understanding of genetics, hormones, neurotransmitters, sleep, that's when you can put a much better personalized plan together. And it's not just eat less, train harder. So during the 2 days, we'll go through much more understanding of how everyone is biochemically individual, and how one program is not going to suit all, and how one nutrition approach isn't going to suit all as well. So I think you're going to talk about metabolic flexibility as well, and inflexibility a little bit.
So if 2 weeks ago my mother's car got robbed. It was a Toyota Prius 2002. So whatever gobshite out there decided to go joyriding in a 2002 Toyota Prius, you didn't get very far.
Dirty Mikey boys.
Yeah, dirty Mikey boys, yeah. I gotta give you a kid. Anyway, the point being is she got a phone call in the middle of the night saying, Olive Lacey, you joyriding your car around Darndale. Not to say that someone from Darndale robbed the car, but that's where it was found. Joyriding on a 2002 Toyota Prius, Jack import. Anyway, the point being is, when we talk about metabolic flexibility, I liken it to a hybrid car. We all have the ability to burn carbohydrate and protein and fats as our main fuel, but some clients coming into you, if they put on weight and they're inflamed, or they've got a lot of adipocytes or a lot of fat in their body, they may not be efficient fat burners. And what I mean by that is they may not be able to tap into the electrical part of the hybrid engine, so they can't go from electricity back to burning petrol again. So what we want our clients to do is to burn sugar in the presence of sugar, but in a fasted state, to be quite good beta oxidators, to be able to get into that fat reserve and use that as energy. However, in order for you to be metabolically flexible, you need cellular health. And in order for you to have cellular health, you need a good mitochondrial function. So we're going to talk a lot about mitochondria in the plasma reticulum. We're going to talk about cellular respiration, how our cells communicate together. We're going to talk about blood markers. And a lot of times we see this, and we're going to talk about B2, B6 and B12 deficiency. So when clients come into you and they're saying, oh, I'm wrecked, I'm tired, well, the chance of them being B12 deficient is quite high. You're only really going to get B12 from meat. And if you've compromised hydrochloric acid, if you've got low intrinsic factor, if you've got poor absorption in your gastrointestinal tract, you're not going to be getting these minerals in, these vitamins in. And if you're not able to make your red blood cells the correct size, you can't oxygenate the body. You can't oxygenate the body, you're not going to be a good fat burner. Because we know in aerobic exercise, we're not only burning fat as the main fuel, but we need the presence of oxygen. So we do know when we go anaerobic, we go out of burning fat and oxygen as our main fuel source, but we still need to be efficient in that level. I had a client in this morning, lovely lady, actually she trained with Stephen, a very nice lady, and I tried to explain to her that when, let's say we all went out drinking, the four of us went out drinking, we all can drink at a different level, different alcohol, beers, spirits, wines, whatever it may be. We all have an ability to tolerate X amount of alcohol, and that's our enzymatic function. So if somebody is efficient at getting rid of alcohol, they can drink more before they getting drunk. So we all have enzymatic function. So some people are efficient at burning fat and some people are inefficient. So not that cardio is the best form of training. I don't believe it is. I think it's one modality of training. But some people that are overweight need to do cardiovascular training to improve their enzymatic function, to improve hormone sensitive lipase and perilipin, to be able to be good fat oxidizers. And again, when I talk to people about their fat burning capabilities, we talk about the mitochondria, we talk about the outer mitochondrial membrane and the inner mitochondrial membrane. And in order for you to get that fatty acid in, get that fat molecule into the mitochondria, we need what's called carnitine acetyltransferase 1 and carnitine transferase 2. But a lot of people are deficient in carnitine. Where are we getting carnitine from? We're going to get it from meat, if we're eating it and if we're absorbing it. But also, when we talk about methylation, methylation is crucially required for the formation of carnitine, formation of creatine, and the formation of CoQ10. So if you've got a methylation defect, you're not eating meat, the chance of you being an efficient fat burner are slim to none. But during the fat loss course, you guys are going to give you the skill sets for you to look at your clients, identify the food diet, look at the training history, look at what's been changed in their body and what hasn't been changed in their body, and then again put together a personalised plan. Don't run the shite out of them and try to get good results, because it just won't happen.
And I would add to that, it is harder to get fat loss when you have someone with nutritional deficiencies and hormone issues. So when you look at them other factors, it's almost like you're getting all your ducks in a row. Everything kind of comes together then.
And look, we talk all the time about clients, we see trainers all the time, and people are trying to do these 6, 9 or 12 week transformations. If you build a better body, the body will perform better. So the fact of the matter is, the absence of disease doesn't mean the presence of health. So when your clients come into you, the healthier you make them, the better they sleep, the better their mood. And I like to use my phone as an analogy to some of my clients. And I say to them, what's the battery in your phone? They're like 70, 80, 90%. But I ask them how they feel when they get up in the morning, and they're like at 1%. Maybe even 10%. The fact of the matter is, we've all been hungover in our life. When you're at 10%, everything is difficult. Everything is difficult. If you get your client at 80 or 90% of well-being, everything they do is going to be improved. But again, guys, you can't expect to train really hard and not recover and not support the body the correct way.
Okay,
Yeah, just as you can see, guys, Eoin has an awful lot of information. I'm actually talking to Facebook and Instagram here, so sorry I'm looking away from one camera. But don't think any of the stuff that Eoin is talking about that you won't understand. You know, over the course of the weekend, and just so you all know, the course is next weekend. Our fat loss workshop is next weekend, and we still have 2 places remaining. So if you are interested, let me know and we can book you on. But next weekend, when you're there, the structure, it's a fantastic learning experience, and the guys have done a lot of hard work to improve the teaching environment down in our Centre of Excellence in Malahide. At the moment we're streaming from the nutritional clinic here in Malahide, but there's going to be a minimum of 1 coach every 4 or 5 participants next weekend. So that gives you the opportunity to, you know, ask your questions, because, you know, no 2 clients are the same. You know, what works for Adam does not work for me, even though we are a family, but everybody is different. So, you know, bring your case studies. Don't be afraid to ask, because like Eoin is very approachable. You know, you can come to myself, Adam, or Robbie next weekend as well. You know, that's why we want to give a higher instructor to delegate our student ratio, so it's that you guys can come in, ask your questions, and then go back to your gym or your workplace on Monday morning and start getting improvements with your clients. So, you know,
I think from a take-home point, that's super important as well, because I was talking to somebody last week and they were at a course over in, I think it might have been, I think it was somewhere over in by France or something like that, but I think there was 200 people at the course, very little people going around and giving cues. So it was kind of stand on the stage, I show you once and you must understand that. And I think that's a big thing, because you might think your question is too dumb, but you might not want to ask, and no question is too dumb, because everyone else might be thinking it and thinking it in a different way. And so many things have been said to me or said at courses that has to be broken down by somebody else before I fully absorb it. So don't be afraid to ask the questions, or don't be afraid to approach one of us 4 guys and ask us what we meant, because you might be able to say it in different terms that home in with you, that make you remember it. And that's the goal, that you remember it, that it's not a case of, oh, I have to keep looking back at the book, that we want you to have stuff that on Monday morning you go back and you tell somebody, look, this is what I learned. And it's in the tip of your head. Yeah, okay, you might have to recap in the notes, but it's there, and you're confident enough saying it from what you heard. So do keep that in mind, guys. That we make sure that's an attendee focused learning experience. So
I challenge that before I answer that question. I challenge that I've been a student, and I am a student of this game for years. I challenge anybody that's ever been to any of our seminars. If you had a good experience, a mediocre experience, or a bad experience, post it below. We're open enough to know that we improve our courses every single time. We improve our classroom, our facilities, our food, our folders, our notes, our presentations, our instructors, everything. So if you've had a good experience, please share it below. Let other people see your positive experience. But we try our best. We're flexible enough. We're open to feedback. We have a growth mindset. If you say to us, no, the gym was too big or too small, or you didn't have this equipment, or I couldn't see the slideshow, or the slides were good, we've made a conscious effort every single time to improve that. The same way with our clients talk with our feet. If they're not happy with you, they'll walk to somewhere else. So for us, your satisfaction, your involvement, your participation, and your understanding of the content is what I live for. So again, if you've had a good experience or a bad experience, post it below and let other people share. TripAdvisor for education.
Yeah, exactly.
Question?
Yeah, so guys, we'll get started with questions now. So the first one was, which are the 3 most critical supplements for looking to improve good health, and moreover, how do you know when someone's good health is actually improved? So rather than start with yourself, I think we should start with Adam and make our way through on yourself.
Thanks for that, Robbie.
Okay.
Show me the question.
I 10-to-1 ratio won't answer to the rest here.
please show us the question.
So
3 most critical supplements for good health, and moreover, how do you know when someone's good health has improved?
So first thing I would say is I wouldn't say there's just 3 supplements, because it all depends on what's going on. Per good health isn't one thing, there's so many different things. So you know, you can go into digestive enzymes, you can go into probiotics, you can go into glutamine, you can go into colostrum. It all depends. Yeah, kind of. Before I said it, we'll move on. One thing, I was going to put up a video there earlier in the week, and we say this quite a lot of courses, but people, we ask them how do they poo. Now I can have that and we all have that conversation over breakfast. It doesn't bother us. We have that conversation, and people do get nervous about it. And Eoin has a very good system that he taught us how to get that information off people without them feeling uncomfortable. So question number 1 is how often. So you give 2 numbers back. Number 1, the first number is how often they go a day. Second number is what's the consistency based off the Bristol stool chart. They feel comfortable writing that at the end of their food diary. They feel comfortable emailing that to you at the end of the week because they're not physically saying, you know what, it's kind of slid out my ass and I had to use half a toilet roll. So, so it all depends, guys. But there's plenty of different supplements. It all depends on what it is. I'm a big fan of digestive enzymes. I've recently, since IPS, because it's not so easy to get good colostrum. So, Innovate Performance Science, they've now released their European store, but prior to that I was getting colostrum from them. I'm introducing a lot of that. Glutamine I've used, but I personally quicker go to colostrum, but it all depends on what it is. So I don't know if you want to move on there, Stephen.
When it comes to supplements for gut health, I'm a big fan of probiotics and I take them religiously. And only recently was I in the UK with Phil Richards and Dr. Nigel Plummer, who are both presenting this year at the ISI Symposium. And Nigel Plummer, you know, he's one of the world leaders on probiotics and gut health. And I learned something. We're always learning something. We don't know everything. And as soon as you stop thinking you know everything, start thinking you know everything. You know, it's you're putting a nail in your own coffin. But like what Nigel Plummer said to me was, or to the group, was that you know you need to take a sufficient amount of probiotics for the part of the GI tract that you want to affect, and you know that resonated with me as well. So sometimes you're just taking 30 billion CFUs a day, which is
same strands.
You know, and there's all different strains and stuff. You know, it's not going to have an effect further down the line in the large intestine. So. You know, that's a big thing for me as well. But, you know, as Adam started off by saying, is that if you're not pooping daily, and we're regular, I mean, 8:30 every day, we're fighting for the toilet. But, you know, if you're not regular and you're getting bloated or you're gas or you're not pooping at all, you know, there are things you need to start looking at, and maybe keeping instead of supplements, keeping a log of what you're eating and what's causing you. Yeah. Keeping a log.
That's as long as
no log in the toilet, so keep a log. But keep a log of what you're eating, what's causing you distress, you know, what's giving you cramps, what's making you, you know, not poop, or if there's something that does help you poop and the consistency. We're making a log of all of that and then maybe go on to talk to somebody about it. But yeah, like, you know, probiotics and just, you know, paying attention to what you eat and when you eat.
Yeah, I think I missed that one there is food, yeah. Like, if you know something's not agreeing with you guys and it's making things run through you too quick, or if it's blocking up the pipeline, then eliminate it before you even think about supplements, because the supplements might only aid that, but it's not going to fix that. The food is the big factor there. So I think I missed that one there, but yeah, food being a big one.
I would say it's easy to spit off 3 supplements that would improve gut health, but again, you need to look at, okay, what are the client's symptoms? Because if someone has gastrointestinal distress when they eat fibre, that's going to change my recommendations compared to if they consume fats and then they get GI distress. So what I'd say is find out what sort of food triggers irritate them, and find out what sort of symptoms they're getting. So if someone's getting gas and bloating or even stomach discomfort from fibre, chances are that individual might not respond well to fibre or might not have the bacterial capacity to actually break down that fibre. And then vice versa, it could be someone else that doesn't have the stomach acid to break down protein. So people do try out generic approaches for the 4R good, you know, rebuild protocol, like glutamine, colostrum. But colostrum is great for repairing the gut, but what if someone has a dairy issue? Then you have to change the recommendations entirely. So make sure it's individual to that client. You need to look at, you're not what you eat, you're what you absorb and assimilate. So humans, so all of us here, we're 99.9% similar. Our genes are 99.9% similar. The big factor that makes us different is our microbiome. So if Stephen consumes broccoli, it's going to be digested and assimilated, and the calories will be broken down differently than myself or Owen. So you've got to take an individual approach there. So and ask your clients for more information. What exactly are the symptoms? And then you base your supplement recommendations upon that.
Okay. So the question was 3 supplements that you recommend for good health. First thing I would do is food is obviously the first thing I would start with. I would do the gold standard is a comprehensive elimination diet. So I would start off with that. The second thing I would do is I have a system called the 5, 10, 50 and 20. We've talked about it at length. You can look that up. The next thing I would probably look into do is adding apple cider vinegar. When you give a client a supplement, and what clients don't understand is when you give them a pill, they think it's going to act like a paracetamol or a sulpidine or whatever it may be. It doesn't happen straight away. So an issue, I'm always apprehensive about giving clients supplements if I want them to take something else. So apple cider vinegar, very easy to do, it's quite natural. Digestive enzymes, particularly with bile. We want bile in our comprehensive enzymes because we want our people to digest their food, because pancreatic function, gallbladder function tends to be compromised. And again, following on what Robbie said, depends on the symptoms. But I'm a big fan of digestive enzymes, big fan of glutamine, big fan of colostrum if the patient can take it. However, not all gastrointestinal problems will show up in your stool. It could be skin, it could be brain fog, it could be irritability, it could be the fact that you're not recovering from training. But the gut is a pivotal in overall health. And if you think about it, what's in the gut is not really in us. The gut is the barrier that lets stuff in and out. So I like to think of the gut as a barrier or border control from one country to the next. And I ask people all the time in seminars, is your gut permeable? Have you got a leaky gut? And people say, well, no, I don't have a leaky gut. Categorically, you do have a leaky gut. You have selective permeability. So our body should allow certain things in and not allow other things in.
So if you didn't have good permeability, you wouldn't be absorbing nutrients.
No, nothing. Absorbing nothing. So quickly, glutamine, colostrum, probably a probiotic, and digestive enzyme. But you have to remember, guys, adding a probiotic into an already dysfunctional gut will not have the effect you're looking for. So you ideally want to eliminate the food, you want to rebuild the gut lining, and then in time add in the probiotics. And be wary of fibre, guys. Fibre, people say, oh, it's brilliant for you, brilliant for you. Fibre is very hard to break down, particularly vegetables, so sometimes that can be an irritant. So when we talk about Bart Simpson and Homer Simpson on the seminar, you realise that the microvilli and how healthy your enterocytes are will dictate whether you're ready for fibre or not. Next question.
So next question was, do you guys believe in the equator rule that Charles Poliquin mentions, as in where your ancestors are from, based on the distance to the equator, your carbohydrate consumption will be metabolized differently?
I definitely believe that people's carbohydrate tolerance is unique and individual. I don't really believe in rules as such as that. So what I would say is, based on the person in front of me is what will dictate what I recommend. And not only that, based on someone's carbohydrate intake and their body composition analysis and their training and their feedback, we call it a CHUPI. Do you remember what CHUPI stands for? Cravings, hunger, energy, weight, performance, inflammation. What's the last C for?
Information?
C at the end of the tube.
Oh yeah, I think I didn't need it. CHUPI, so CHEWPI. So based on someone's cravings, hunger, energy, weight, performance and inflammation will dictate what the macronutrients I give them. But the carbohydrate tolerance in relation to where they are in the equator, I can understand where he was coming at with that, but seeing people day in, day out for the last 21 years and being a personal trainer and being a strength and conditioning coach, it's different than being a coach just with a few teams. And anyone that's trained a lot of athletes, guys, when you tell an athlete to eat 1 gram of carbohydrate a day, they will eat 1 gram of carbohydrate a day, because again, they want to get on that podium. But when you're dealing with executives for as many years as we have, you have to realise that that's not going to necessarily be what they're going to do, so you have to work with them. So carbohydrate tolerance is very unique. I take into consideration activity levels, I take into consideration muscle mass, taking into consideration insulin resistance and insulin sensitivity. And on the course we'll talk about how to look at people's blood analysis and work out their insulin resistance. And that was something shared to me by Dr. Brian Walsh and Dr. Eric Serrano. So again, guys, generic recommendation can work for 80% of the people. However, those 80% of the people that are getting results are not coming to trainers. It's the 20% of the people that are not getting results that you need to get a bit deeper.
Well, they're the people that pay a PT, like otherwise if it's working for them, they're just going to stick with classes.
Exactly.
But I just think on what you're saying there, like close to the equator, that, as you said, that is a rule. But what if you are in that, one of them people that you link with that and you're taking antibiotics for the first 5 years of your life? That's going against you when you get older. Clearly that's going to mess with your microbiome, and that's going to then overall lead to more weight gain as you get older. So it's just such a narrow term.
Toilet dysfunction.
I personally I wouldn't follow any one rule, something like that. You're the person seeing them, they're coming to you for the professional advice, so don't just think, oh well, this rule, this is what it is. So look at what's in front of you.
Next question. Recently had to change powerlifting training until the end of the day. Any tips on helping calm the nervous system to improve sleep?
Okay, so what I would do is calming the nervous system or getting more into a parasympathetic dominant state is extremely individual. So meditation is very effective for some people that are into that or can get themselves into that zone. Heart mat or inner balance is an app that you can stick onto your ear, gets you into a more of a coherent state. That's very effective. Headspace is a fantastic app. Believe it or not, stretching can also get you into a parasympathetic state. Sometimes cold baths can also do the same thing. Cold showers can help you out. Magnesium is quite a good one. Topical magnesium or oral magnesium. Giving yourself a good cool down. Training and exciting the central nervous system at night time is not ideal for sleep. However, if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. We'll play around with a few of those. So showers, baths, magnesium. There's some supplements you can take, but ideally it's getting yourself into that relaxed state. With that person, I'd like to find out is, can they fall asleep? Are they waking up multiple times? Are they lying in bed before they can, with their mind racing? So there's a few things that we can do.
So I would say, I actually got this one from Victoria Felker. So she calls it a staircase approach. So usually when people have sleep issues or nervous system issues, they just jump straight to melatonin. So I would prefer to kind of start lowering the staircase, and if it works down there, then we can, or it doesn't work, we can start moving up to the kind of the bigger guns, which would be melatonin. But I think chamomile tea works really well for calming the nervous system. Belly breaths after your session, maybe lie down on the ground, calm your breathing down, can really help bring your blood sugar, your blood pressure back down to normal. And I've been using phosphatidylserine a little bit lately with my clients to help kind of calm the nervous system and kind of blunt that cortisol response in the evening, which is quite nice as well. So I think Jarrow do a good phosphatidylserine, so that's quite good as well.
Just I'll add to that as well. We always recommend for our clients and even for ourselves to train earlier in the day as the sun rises and sun sets with the circadian rhythm. If you are having to train in the evening time, as Eoin said, there's some supplements you can do, whether you have salt baths or some stretching will put you in a parasympathetic state. A big thing to do is get off your smartphone or your devices as soon as possible after as well, because that's just going to prolong that spike or that cortisol curve from your training response as well. So as soon as you can, start winding yourself down, whether you have a salt bath or some stretching, some chamomile tea, some supplements, some magnesium. Start dimming the lights, try and get off your devices as soon as possible as well. That will help you sleep much sooner.
Okay, so we're coming towards the end, guys. We want to answer the question that we're asked because we were a bit late starting. So we apologise if we're going over, guys, but we want to get these answered. Robbie?
Yeah, so the next one is it's from Dan.
Dan, what's up?
So why, when working on good health, would clients have sleep issues within the first week? And I would say I've seen that quite a bit. When clients have sleep issues, you think about it this way. So melatonin, your primary sleep hormone, is produced in your pineal gland, but you also produce 400 times more melatonin in your gut.
You read that paper?
I've read that paper.
I read it today.
I'll send it on.
I read it today, a copy. Well done, Robbie.
So 400 times more melatonin in your gut. So when you've got a dysbiotic gut or a gut that's not functioning optimally, definitely your serotonin is going to be screwed, and so is your melatonin. So you got to look to improve good health for that. Oh, any other points there?
I like that, Robbie, because I was thinking about that exact paper I read. So anytime you're going through a transition phase, guys, in any way, shape or form, a lot of people do too many things at one time and it overwhelms the body. The body's transitioning to maybe an elimination diet or a probiotic, and sometimes it can interfere with sleep. Again, I ask my clients to track it, monitor it, and hopefully it doesn't last any more than about a week or so. Okay, next question.
Let's move on, yeah.
How do you guys manage your continued studies and all the things health related? Do you allocate a set amount of hours each week to learning, and can it be difficult juggling it alongside clients?
Okay, we have Eoin Lacey who would send us information all the time, and he's on us like a car bonnet, on it like a car bonnet, on it like a car bonnet. Seriously, like this man is. We're lucky to have him on as like one of the directors in the team, and he sends us the information, he pushes us. So I know like, if it wasn't for Eoin, we would also be learning, but probably not the pace we are now, and he is as well.
Well, again, on the front door of the gym, every day, get busy, getting better. I think we always try and allocate at least a couple of hours a day just to either reading, watching a webinar, listening to a podcast, even driving to and from work.
So what I like to do is, and this isn't me, so thanks for the credit, Steve, but all the guys in the ISI are working hard to get better. And what I say to them, guys, what did you learn today? So if you ask one of your guys in the gym, what did you learn today? They should be studying all the time. So if I learn something, I share it with Robbie, Adam shares it, Stephen shares it. But what I like to do what's called time stacking. And what I'll do is in the car, I'll have an Audible account. I easily get through at least 1 to 2 books a week on Audible. No problem. The radio isn't on in my car. If you see me nodding like this is me listening to Rob Wolf on a book or something like that nodding. But Audible accounts, I bang them out on a regular basis. Saunas, I watch webinars as much as I can. If I'm in the gym stretching or doing cardio, I'll put an Audible or a podcast or a webinar on the Bluetooth on the speaker. We go through papers. Dr. Serrano's phenomenal with papers. One thing I do, Dr. Brian Walsh has a number of videos on his website, Metabolic Fitness Pro, that we go through. I'm a nut for books. We go through books on a regular basis. But the fact of the matter is, guys, you need to be pushing yourself forward, attending courses. And as Adam said, he was at a course recently, and there's a lot of 1% and a lot of people in attendance. I don't like that. I like the personal touch. We're actually currently working at the moment to get an online course, so trainers can do an online course and do it as they're working on a job at the same time. But there's a method we're going to talk about called the Pomodoro effect. The Pomodoro effect basically means that you have about 15 to 20 minutes of attention span. So don't sit down reading a book for an hour, because you're not going to retain the information. Sit down 20 minutes, get into that book, learn something from it, write it down and share the information with somebody else. And that will get it from short-term memory to long-term memory. And this is something we're going to talk about studying, not only about studying, but getting the information that you want to get across your client into their psyche, into their reticular activating system, and get that into their self-discipline. So again, studying, guys, it's a daily thing.
I'll just add to that. So, based on, I work with the ISI in 2 different locations, Leeson Street and Malahide. I've got a number of clients in both times, so if whoever asked that question is super busy and trying to find the time to actually allocate it, I'm a firm believer if it's not in the calendar, it's not going to happen. So even when I arranged to meet up with friends, I had a friend come down from Drogheda there recently to train myself and all, I put it in the calendar because I probably would have booked somebody in, even though it's in the back of my mind. If it's not there, you don't do it. So put in 1 hour.
He owns Canoe in Drogheda, check it out.
So hit it up, tell him me and Owen sent. But I put it into the calendar, so put in an hour's or a half an hour's worth of book reading if that's what you want to do. Write in, don't just write study, write in what you want to do. Put the phone down, put on airplane mode, leave them. I've recently just left a couple of WhatsApp groups, a couple of dirty negative WhatsApp groups that I don't need to be in. These boys are in someone as well. So it's just a waste of time, because you could leave your session, you look and you've got 10 messages that are just not worth reading. So just focus on what you set out to do. If that was a client, the phone's in the pocket as well, so treat it like it is a client and get it done.
Okay, any other questions, Nicholas?
I think we should leave with that.
Yeah,
okay, so what I would say is, guys, we again, we're working really hard to make this Fat Loss the best course we've ever had so far. And you guys know that we have a company over in the States, ICANN Education. You can check that out online too. The symposium's coming up. I've been asked to speak. I'm in negotiations with my with the financial department to see if they can afford me or not. I'm joking. I'm going to be teaching. I haven't decided what I'm going to present on, but what I would say, guys, leading up to the event, if there's something in particular that you guys want to hear, you want to talk a little bit about, please put below your topic that you want to hear about. And again,
you can also just send them into the messages on Facebook or Instagram anytime they want.
Yeah, Facebook.
There's no set time.
I don't know what's going on with Facebook. It's not as people aren't communicating as much as they use on Facebook. Again, we keep our presence on there. If you've got questions, post them there. On Instagram, post them here.
You're still on Bebo, dude.
I'm on Bebo, yeah. On MySpace.
He's still putting up blogs, eh?
Yeah. But anyway, so guys, I much appreciate your time on a Saturday. Hope you guys have a nice weekend. Yeah. Thanks to the guys jumping in and Stephen coming along. So take it easy and enjoy your weekend.
Next, don't forget, next weekend is the Fat Loss. 2 spaces left for 24 hours from now. If you want to save yourself $150, go to our website, register for the event, and type in ISI FLEB 150, and that'll save you 150 quid.
And that's on the Saturday to Sunday next week.
Yeah, next Saturday, Sunday. Okay, bring your training gears, 2 training sessions a day. Fantastic lunch provided as well, so we hope to see you there, guys.
It's going to be some fun.
Thank you.